And Captain DJ leads the crew, singing songs for me and you. Something, something, Chaos Crew, Space Pirates. It's Warzone Nachmund, the latest Kill Team expansion for Warhammer 40k Kill Team 2021, the latest edition of Kill Team. Kindly sent along as a complimentary review copy by Games Workshop for you guys to check out along with me. If you want to see it all painted up, I painted up the vast majority of the box so that Jay and I can play some games next week. It'll be on the paint table today, and right now we're going to take a look at the cool new rules from Codex Nachmund for Kill Team. So what is this? This is two new faction expansions. One's a remake of an existing faction, so the Heretic Astartes are in here, and then a brand new Eldar Corsairs faction as well. I got excited about the Chaos stuff because, again, if you don't know anything about me, then you don't know that the Eldar have been doing terrible things to me since the mid-90s, and they're not my favorite faction to build up and paint, although I will play them eventually. And I was excited about the Chaos stuff that came in the Eldritch Omens box. I'd already started painting some Iron Warriors, so you'll get to see all that stuff. I'm getting done. So a lot like Chalnath, which was the first expansion for the game, basically what this is it takes two factions, puts them in a box, shines a spotlight on them, gives you brand new Kill Team rules for the train that comes in there, and then you get a multi-part mission. I think it's 9 missions in total narratively to play through as well. These books do become available separately because Chalnath just became available as well, meaning that if you aren't interested in the models in the box but you want the kill teams eventually, they will be available for sale. Just gotta be patient and wait until, I guess, the next box comes out. Because it seems like the Chalnath one came out when Nachmund came out, so when the next box after this comes out, then Nachmund will get released. So what's in here? Well, the usual cool new stuff, and this does go along with the update for the balance update, I guess data slate is what it's called, for 2022 for Kill Team. You'll find that the Heretic Astartes in here are fairly well balanced to that. Although all of the Firstborn Astartes always had 6 model fire teams, this one is in line with that as well and has a 6 model fire team. So what do we got? Well, we got some background for the Nachmund Gauntlet. I do love this setting. The fact that it's basically just a big split, a big like corridor between Imperium Nihilus and the Imperium that is relatively stable, but it's full of pirates and stuff is just a neat idea, and it's a cool kind of compelling setting. Once again, this book is full of this, I don't know what to call it, but like new style, old style art. This kind of punk rock, black and white, Cursed City art style. I love this artist. Again, I wish there was credits in these books so that I could figure out who that particular artist is. I'm sure I could probably do some research and find it out. If you know, tell me in the comments because their art is phenomenal and I love this style. It might even be a team because you never know, they might just be doing it as teams as well. And then the setting for the actual Kill Team stuff as well. So Heretic Astartes background, it focuses on the Black Legion, but you can do any Legion you want. I did Iron Warriors because they're the coolest, and then all of their weapon systems and stuff. Again, look at this art. Like, it's got an old school cool to it that I just find so compelling. I want there to be more and more of this in the books, and I'm glad that it's not just in the codexes, but also the battle tomes, and of course showing up here as well in Kill Team. Showing off some neat new stuff. Now, I don't know what this terrain piece is. I wish I did because I love it, and it's featured a bunch in the art, but most of the battle zone is the reactor stuff. So the big gas tanks, the fuel lines and pipes. You got the big sort of service tractor and stuff too. I'm sure this probably exists already, and I just don't know what it is, but it has like a servitor plugged into it, and I just think it's super compelling. I wanna know what it is because I want one. I want this servitor on a wall. It makes me happy. Rolling up names. All right, what's my Iron Warrior name? My name is 3 Porox Steel Spine. That sounds like Sweet D from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The aluminum monster. I'll give you another one. 6. My name is Detrus Steel Spine. Apparently we're a family of steel spines. Then it's Ferox Steel Spine. It's all steel spines. Apparently I can roll 6s on command. What's my squad quirk? Is it that we all have steel spines? 2. Cruel. These warriors live to torment their victims, whether through psychological warfare or taking their time over killing them slowly and painfully at close quarters. Well, I probably should have gotten Iron Discipline, but apparently we're just cruel. And then the Eldari Corsairs. A lot more background for them. I've always loved the Corsairs because, again, they are a Rogue Trader phenomenon. If you don't remember the art from Rogue Trader for Eldar, it was these blue Eldar with these like tiger-striped Eldritch Raiders helmets. They were basically Prince Iriel's pirates. The background for Iriel has expanded over time, but the Corsairs, the idea was that they were just dissatisfied Eldari. Like that Eldari society isn't perfect, and not everybody is like along with the plan basically that the Seers have, and are willing to like go it alone and basically be like the wild card in fate. I love the background for them because they come from all different Eldar societies. So you have Exodites rubbing shoulders with Harlequins, rubbing shoulders with the Drakari, rubbing shoulders with like regular craft world Eldar. And you get this wonderful mixed bag. And so that's basically represented here in the miniatures. So you have your Voidscarred Kernite Hunter, who has a real like Exodite kind of look to them. You have the Soul Weaver, you know, basically like a Spirit Seer that's now gone rogue. The Shade Runner, which very much looks like either a Harlequin or a Mandrake. I can't decide. A Wayseeker, so like a, you know, dissatisfied sort of like Farseer or Seer. The Voidscarred Warriors, though, have a real like Dark Eldar thing going to them with their helms. And the same with the Warriors and stuff too. They've just, I don't know, they've nailed the piratical look, and I love the mix of like armor and weapons too. Names and demeanors. So let's say I had a, I don't know, what's my, is my, basically my descent from a witch cult, Kabbalites, Azriani. So maybe my name is Azriani. So I'm Iridrel for Ulthos, speaker of unspeakable truths. That sounds like me. I'm down with that. And my squad quirk is, let's do an Eldari squad quirk. 5, revengeful. A great wrong was inflicted upon these warriors in the past, and they seek revenge. My base of operations is a craft world, and my background is 2. I'm bound to Evrain. This team has been aligned itself with the Inari or Evrain, and every undertaking is designed to further her ends. All right, let's get into it. So the rules. TAC Ops. So we get to learn about the different TAC Ops for each of the sort of like main words here. So you have Corsair, Voidscarred, or Legionaries as the 2 keywords. Army lists your Spec Ops for them, the Kill Zone rules, and the Shadow Operations mission pack. So for Legionary, so it's not Heretic Astartes, it's a Legionary kill team. So it actually might not replace it, but the current, the reason I said that is, the last 2, there's been data slate updates that have replaced from White Dwarf. So like for instance, the Hunter Clades has replaced Mechanicum, and there's a couple other ones, but the chances are this replaces the Heretic Astartes one. Because the last balance data slate said it did. I don't know why you would use the Heretic Astartes one after this anyway, because there's just better stuff in here. So your TAC Ops, you've got 3 as usual. You can do sacrilegious mutilation. So it's each time you reveal this the first time an enemy operative is incapacitated. Each time an enemy operative is incapacitated before it's removed from the kill zone, place a corpse token underneath the operative as close as possible to the center of its base. The second time a friendly operative performs the Defiled for the Dark Gods action, score a VP. So basically, if you get within an inch of a corpse token, you can just defile it as long as no one else is nearby and get VPs. So you make examples out of people. You mutilate, like you carve like a Chaos Star out of their heads. Gross, but very appropriate. Dark Desecration. If reveal the stack up of the target reveal step at the first turning point. Select 1 terrain feature that indicates any parts of the heavy trait. If 2 or more enemy operatives are incapacitated while within an inch of it, you get a VP. If you achieve the first condition and at the end of the battle, the total APL of friendly operatives of that terrain feature is greater than that of enemy, then you score 1. So basically, you're killing people near a heavy terrain feature and then going over and standing next to it because you're trying to, like, I don't know, paint it with their blood. So that's a good one. And then Savage Butcher, you can reveal TAC up at the target reveal step of any turning point. Select a friendly operative. If 2 or more enemy operatives are incapacitated in combat by that friendly operative, you score a VP. If 3 or more are incapacitated by them, you score a VP. So take your Butcher, give him Savage Butcher, and then go murder some guys with a giant chain axe. And the Corsair Voidscarred, so there's our Flawless Raid. You can reveal this TAC up in the target reveal step of any turning point after the second. So it has to be 3 or 4. If you had more victory points than your opponent at the start of the turning point, score a VP. If you achieve the first condition at the start of the subsequent turning point, you score a VP. So you get this TAC op if you're winning on turn 3 and you're still winning on turn 4. It's like a force multiplier, which I think is hilarious. Soul Guard. Reveal this TAC up in the target reveal step of the first turning point. Each time a friendly Corsair Voidscarred operative is incapacitated. Before removed from play, place a Spirit Stone token underneath it. You can pick up, the pickup action can be performed by your Spirit Stone tokens by friendly Voidscarred operatives. You can carry any number of Spirit Stones. while within engagement range, but they can be picked up by friendly Void Scarred while within engagement range of enemy operatives. So you can pick it up even if you're in melee. At the end of battle, if no friendly operatives have been incapacitated, you score 2. Otherwise, at the end of the battle, if friendly operatives are carrying at least half your Spirit Stone tokens, you score 1. And if they have all of them, you score 1. So if no one dies, you score 2. But if someone dies and you're holding half of what they drop, you get 1, and otherwise you get 2. So don't die and be left behind. And then Opportunists, reveal this tac op in the target real step of the first turning point. Select 3 enemy operatives. Each time one of these operatives is incapacitated before it's removed from the kill zone, place one of your loot tokens underneath it as close as possible to the center of the base. Pickup can be performed in these loot tokens by friendly operatives, and you can carry any number of them. At the end of the battle, if your friendly operative is carrying more loot tokens, 1 or more, you get 1. If you're carrying 3 or more, you get 1. So basically, kill guys and grab their loot. Because you're robbers, you're pirates. All right, so then the kill teams themselves. You can have Security and Seek and Destroy as your tac ops, or your base ones. And your base ones are pretty great. And then Legionary Kill Team operatives, you get 1 Legionary operative selected from the following. So your leader options are a Chosen or an Aspiring Champion. They both have different things. The Chosen has a Demon Blade, which is cool. The Aspiring Champion gets a Tainted Chainsword, Power Weapon, or Power Fist, or Power Maul. And then your Legionary operatives, you can have up to 5. There's a basic Legionary Warrior, and then you can have 4 of the following. A Gunner, a Heavy Gunner, an Icon Bearer, an Anointed, a Butcher, a Balefire Acolyte, or a Shrive Talon. So what's cool is out of this box, you can literally make every single one of these and have all the options. So I built 2 Warriors. I probably never use them except for in regular 40k, but the models are cool. And then I have a Gunner, a Heavy Gunner, an Icon Bearer, an Anointed, a Butcher, a Balefire Acolyte, and a Shrive Talon. If I wanted to have every option, I'd need 2 more Heavy Gunners with a Heavy Bolter and Missile Launcher, although the Reaper Chain Cannon is great. And I need 2 more with a Flamer and a Melting Gun. Other than that, I have everything painted. I converted my my Legionary Chosen out of the Chosen from... I used the Blade from this upgrade sprue, but then I made the Chosen out of the Chosen from Eldritch Omens, which was cool. And then when adding a Legionary operative to your data slate, you must choose one of the keywords below to replace its selectable mark keyword. Unlike other legions, other selectable keywords like Legion, you can operatives with different marks of chaos in your roster data sheet. So they don't all have to have the selectable token, which is cool. So you can all have the same Legion, but then on top of that have different keywords. So you could have like a Iron Warrior Butcher dedicated to Khorne. You know what I mean? Or a Tzeentch dedicated Acolyte or something like that, which is kind of cool. If your roster contains any operatives with Khorne, though, you can't have any Slaanesh and vice versa, or any Nurgle, you can't have any Tzeentch. So basically, you can have Undivided and any 2 of those following combinations. Or 3 total. So like, you can have Undivided and 3 of these, but whatever the opposed one is, you can't take. And then your abilities. Chaos Blessing, if you have the mark, so if you have Khorne, you get Wrathful Onslaught. Whenever you fight in combat in the resolve hit step of the combat, if you didn't retain any criticals, you can turn a normal into a critical if you're Khorne. Nurgle's got Disgusting Vigor. Each time a shooting attack is made by this operative, in the defense steps, the roll defense dice step of the shooting attack, you can retain 1 normal save as a critical save, which is pretty great. Slaanesh gives you an extra inch of movement, and then Tzeentch is Imperial Guidance. Whenever you make a shooting attack in the roll attack dice step of that shooting attack, you can retain 1 of your 5 pluses as a crit, which is pretty great too. Honestly, of all of them, I think you just drop Slaanesh. Extra movement isn't as good as extra murder and extra staying alive. And then Undivided, Vicious Readers, each time the operative fights in combat or makes a shooting attack in the roll attack dice step, if you're within 6, so red hexagon, why wasn't it hexagon? It's pentagon. It should be hexagon, because then it would be 6 inches. You can reroll 1 of your attack dice. So you get to reroll up close, which is cool. And then Favor of the Dark Gods, once per turning point, when it's your turn to use a strategic ploy, if any friendly operatives have this ability, then you can use a strategic ploy without spending any CPs, and it must have the same mark as a selectable keyword as one of the friendly operatives of this ability. So for instance, your leader, if he has a mark of an ability, he can only get the free one out of the ones of the same mark for your ploys. Which is neat. So the other guy that can have that is the Icon Bearer. So for instance, if I wanted to pay for a general one, I could have the icon, or not pay for a general one, I can have the Icon Bearer mark Undivided, and I can take my 2 Hateful Assault and Malicious Volleys, which is super handy. Now, one of the things that both of the lists in this book do, I think is really cool, is gives you an optional Psyker. Most of the lists are either Psyker or no Psyker. In this one, you can take a Legionary Psyker operative, which means you have like an acolyte that can cast psychic powers. Same with, there's a couple of them actually in the Eldari one. So if you take a Legion Psychic power, you can manifest psychic powers. You get Fire Blast, Malign Influence, and Life Siphon. So you can either shoot someone with fire. It's a 4 attack, 3+3/4 damage, no cover blast with splash 1 on a crit, which is cool. Malign Influence. This might be the reason to take it in and of itself. Select one visible Legionary operative until the end of the turning point. Weapons that operative is equipped with gain lethal 5+, no cover, and brutal. Hello, Reaper Chain Cannon. You're brutal, 5+, no cover. So roll 6s or you're just going to get shredded. that acolyte's going to be best friends with the Chain Cannon. And then Life Siphon. It's a 5 attack, 3+3/3 damage with Life Siphon Force. Siphon Life Force, sorry. Each time a friendly operative makes a shooting attack with this weapon, in the resolve successful hit step, and it's on a crit though, you can resolve 2 or more attack. If you resolve 2 or more attack dice, you can select one friendly Legionary operative within 6 inches of the target to get D3 lost wounds back. So it's a gun that also gives wounds back to anybody you want within 6 of the acolyte. An awesome specialist. And then your strategic ploys, you get 2 general ones that anybody can use. They're the standard Marine ones: Hateful Assault, Malicious Volleys, make 2 shoot actions or 2 fight actions. Taking your Icon Bearer just with Undivided so that you can always do these 2 for free if you want. Huge deal. And then your other ones are based on either being Nurgle, Khorne, Slaanesh, or Tzeentch. Khorne only gets 1, or sorry, they get 2 rather. Blood for the Blood God. Until the end of the turning point, each time a friendly Khorne operative fights in combat, in the resolve successful hit step of the combat, if it performed a charge action during the activation, the first time it strikes does 1 extra damage. And then Perpetual Aggression. Until the end of the turning point, each time a friendly Khorne operative fights in combat, if it's not within engagement range of the enemy operative, it can make a move action following the same rules as a normal move action with the following exceptions. It can only move up to blue, so 2 inches. Blue is, that's 3 inches, sorry. White is 2 inches. It can move within engagement range of enemy operatives. If it can, it must finish the move within engagement range of the closest visible enemy operative. So that's pretty cool. Basically, you want to be able to charge forward and you get free movement out of it. From Nurgle, you get Mutagenic Flesh. Until the end of the turning point, each time the normal damage would be inflicted upon a friendly Nurgle operative, subtract 1 from the damage inflicted to a minimum of 1. So not against criticals, but your normal damage is all 1 less. Then Implacable. Until the end of the turning point, friendly Nurgle operatives are treated as not being injured. Ignore all negative modifiers to their APL and ignore the worsening of their ballistic skill when they're performing an Overwatch action. That's a reason to play Nurgle. And then Graceful Killer for Slaanesh. Until the end of the turning point, add 1 to critical damage for your melee weapons. Delicious Agony for 1 until the end of the turning point, each time a friendly Slaanesh operative fights in combat. In the resolve successful hit step of the combat phase, when you would resolve your first successful hit, if the target's injured, you can resolve 2 instead of 1. So basically, you do double your normal damage from a successful hit the first time if the guy's already damaged. That's a huge one. Protected by Fate until the end of the turning point. Each time a shooting attack is made against a friendly Tzeentch operative, in the roll defense dice step, if you retain any crits, you can select a failed save to be a normal save. And then Etheric Ward. Until the end of the turning point, friendly Tzeentch operatives have a 4+ invul. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways to make your kill team, obviously. You could mix your marks, or you could have a singular mark across everybody. These obviously get better if you mark everybody the same. You can then maybe have a single, I guess the undivided ones work on everybody because they don't have a keyword required. So you could still take like an undivided, because if you use the free Favor of the Dark Gods, it has to be everybody, but the undivided ones can do Hateful Assault and Malicious Volleys for free. So you could always have basically an undivided one to get Hateful Assault and Malicious Volleys, and then you could pay for these ones basically if you want to mark everybody the same. So it's worth doing. And then Tactical Ploys, these are your intern ones. Veterans of the Long War for 1 CP. Use it during a friendly Legionary operative's activation after it fights in combat or makes a shooting attack. If the target did not lose any wounds as a result of the combat or shooting attack, just repeat the combat or shooting attack. So basically, if you fail to hurt somebody, go again for 1 CP. Unending Bloodshed, this is a Khorne one. It uses Tactical Ploy when a friendly Khorne operative is incapacitated in combat by an enemy operative. Before they're removed from the battlefield, select one melee weapon it's equipped with and roll one attack die as if they were fighting in combat. If the hit's a success, you can immediately strike an enemy operative within engagement range, then remove them from the kill zone. So basically you lash out and do a hit. Mutable and change, use the tactical ploy during a friendly Tzeentch operative's activation. They get +1 AP, that's huge. Malign Aura, uses for Nurgle until the end of the turning point when an enemy operative is within 3 of that operative, subtract 1 from its defense. And then Sickening Captivation. Use strategic ploy in a friendly Slaanesh operative's activation. Select one enemy operative visible to and within 3 inches of the Slaanesh operative and subtract 1 from their APL. So minus defense, minus APL, both really cool tactical ploys. And again, everything's so cool, it's really tempting to mix your marks. And then the core stats didn't change a lot. You basically, everything got Chaos Blessing from the Heretic Astartes. So your Legionary Warrior, he's got 3 movement, 3 APL, 1 group activation, so nobody's group activation 2 here. 3 defense dice, 3+, and 12 wounds. His fists, bolt pistol, bolt gun are all standard from the index, or the compendium, sorry. Chainsword's 5 attacks, 3+, 4, 5 damage, and the Chaos Blessing is when you give him a mark, the abilities he gets based on that mark. The Legionary Gunner, pretty much the same thing. Chaos Blessing. Heavy Gunner can have the Reaper Chain Cannon, Ceaseless Fusillade Heavy, Frag and Crack Missiles, or Heavy Bolter. They're all same as in the base rules. So then you get your Legionary Anointed. This guy can basically unleash a demon once per battle when this operative is selected or activated. The demon can take control if it does so until the end of the rest of the battle. You cannot perform Overwatch, pick up, or shoot mission actions. Each time you would lose a wound, though. On a 5+, ignore it. The Demonic Claw gains Ceaseless and Lethal 5+. And it's a 5 dice, 3+, 4, 5 damage with Rending on a crit. But it gets Ceaseless and Lethal 5+. And each time it's activated, it can perform 2 fight actions during its activation. So if you want a Kamikaze Cruise Missile, the Anointed is pretty amazing. Then you get your Butcher. Again, all these guys have the same Legion Astartes core stats. He's got a bolt pistol and a double-handed chain axe. It's 4 attack dice, 4+ to hit, 5/7 damage with vicious blows, and Reap 2. He gets Devastating Onslaught. Each time this operative fights in combat, enemy operatives with engagement range cannot provide combat support because he's trying to get out of the way. For the purpose of dash, fallback, and normal move actions, enemy operatives would treat the distance of this operative's engagement range as 2 inches for that action instead of just 1. So he engages 2 inches because he's got a giant long handle on that thing. And then Vicious Blows. Each time this operative fights in combat, if the operative is the attacker, the weapon gains Ceaseless. If the operative performed a charge action in the same activation, the weapon gains Relentless. So reroll 1s or reroll everything if you charge. Ugh, so good. Then you get your Legionary Shrive Talon. Again, there's 3 kind of melee classes to the specialists here. He's got a Bolt Pestle and his Flensing Blades, 5 attacks, 3/5 damage on a 3+ with lethal 5+. He has Vicious Reflexes. Each time this operative fights in combat and resolves successful hits, if you're the defender, then you start instead of the attacker when resolving successful hits. So you always go first, even if you're attacking, even if you're defending. So if someone's attacking you, you still hit first with your Flensing Blades because you're just that fast. Horrifying Dismemberment. Each time this operative fights in combat, if it incapacitated an enemy operative, select one enemy operative within 2 inches, subtract 1 from their APL, because you just watch that guy get like murdered. And then your unique action, Grizzly Mark for 2 AP. Place a Grizzly Mark token within 1 inch of this operative. This operative can only perform this action once, and it cannot perform this action if it's within engagement range of an enemy operative. Each time an enemy operative would perform a mission action or the pickup action, if that enemy operative is within 2 of the Grizzly Mark, 1 additional action point must be spent to perform it. And when determining control of an objective marker that the Grizzly Mark token is within 2 of, treat enemy operative's APL as being 1 less. And this is not a modifier. So you can't ignore the modifier for being like transhuman or whatever, ignore injury stuff. So, ho-ho! Yeah, you just basically like take someone's face off and hang it on a stick and it makes everything hard to do. Cult Icon Bearer, he's got Flavor of the Dark Gods, which gives you the free strategic ploy based on the same mark. And then Icon Bearer, when determining control an objective marker, your AP is 1 higher for holding it because you plant your flag. And then your Balefire Acolyte, he's got his sweet Fell Dagger, which is a 5 attack, 3+, 4+ Demonic Energies, which is each time this operative fights in combat. In the roll attack dice step, each time you retain a crit, the target suffers 2 mortal wounds. And you cannot have a Mark of Khorne. Then Manifest Psychic Power, you can use the psychic actions later on. And then we got our 2 leaders, the Chaos Chosen. He's got an extra wound for 13 wounds, and he's got a plasma pistol, a tainted bolt pistol, and a demonic blade, which is 5 attacks, 2+ to hit, 4/7 damage, lethal, 5+ to super power sword. He's got Chaos Blessing and Favor of the Dark God, so your Icon Bearer is a backup basically for him. But what you can do is you can give him a Mark of Chaos, same as everyone else's mark. You can have the Icon Bearer take the ploy to do Hateful Assault or Hateful whatever, Hateful Malicious Assault, Malicious Volley or whatever, and then have this guy do the marked ones, right? So you have a way of doing both for free, basically. He's got a Demonic Aura. Each time an enemy operative starts a fallback action within engagement range of this operative, reduce the distance they can fall back by 2 to a minimum of 2 inches. And then Soul Feast. Each time this operative fights in combat in the resolve successful hit step, if any of their strikes inflict critical damage, they get 2 wounds back because the sword heals them. So a very cool, mostly melee-oriented leader. And then the Aspiring Champion, more flexible gear, same core stats. Can have a Power Fist, Power Maul, Power Weapon, or Tainted Chainsword. Now the Tainted Chainsword is different from a normal chainsword in that it has the Parry Hook ability. Each time a friendly operative fights in combat with this weapon, in the resolve successful hit step, you can select one of your opponent's crits to be discarded. That's pretty cool because he parries it. And then in the Eyes of the Gods, once per turning point, when this operative incapacitates an enemy operative, you can give +1 to this operative's APL. He gains an AP. And their equipment list. So the Legionary operatives in your kill team can get any of the following. So aggression stimulants for the whole battle. Each time this operative fights in combat, in the roll attack dice step of the combat, if they perform a charge during this turning point, you can reroll one of your attack dice. That's 3 equipment points. Frag grenades, they're the usual. Crack grenades are the usual. Warded armor, 2+ save. But as soon as you take any damage, your save goes back to normal. Only costs 3, but it's marked as 1 per army. So you could give your Aspiring Champion or your other guy a 2+ save. Your Suspenser System, usual move and fire for 3, Malign Scripture for 2, you manifest 2 psychic powers for your Balefire Acolyte, Tainted Rounds, you get +1 damage to your Bolt Pistol, Bolt, or Bolt Gun, but it's only 1 per team. Grizzly Trophy, when this operative is visible and within 3 of an enemy operative, it's -1 to its range and melee weapons. So its attacks go down by 1 because you're like, what is that? And then Malefic Blade is just a sword you can give anybody. It gives you a 5 attack, 3+3, 5 damage weapon. So you can give everybody for 2 EP a weapon. So a very cool flexible list. I love having 2 leader options. I love all of the different like mark abilities, and they made the unique specialists feel unique. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. I gotta tell you, they're the ones I painted up first. I'm excited to play with them. And then you got your Spec Ops stuff. So your specialisms, like being an Apostle of Chaos or Warp Blast, your rare equipment for when you're playing Spec Ops campaigns. The Pages of Scabrius, an Icon of Chaos. A Demonic Axe for your Butcher. Everybody gets some cool toys. Different assets, like an Unclean Shrine, Relics of the Heresy, or a Sacrificial Altar. And then your requisitions, like Marked for Greatness, Eye of the Gods, and Cast Aside. And there's our unique mission stuff as well. Operation 1, Profane Violation. Operation 2, Dominance. Operation 3, Condemnation. And then we're into the Void Scarred. All right, so now this is a 9 model kill team, which is interesting. I'm not sure why they didn't go to 10, because most of the Eldari kill teams, since the balance update, are allowed to go to 10 now, because all the elite ones, like the Dire Avengers, got an extra warrior option added to them, and even the other ones, the Guardians and stuff, went to 6. So what do you get? You get a Felrarch, who's your leader, and then up to 8 Corsair Void Scarred warriors from the following list. And you can make them all out of the box set again. So you just don't have like the flex options that the Chaos Marines have by having a 6 model crew and then 4 flex models, but you can basically make everybody. The warriors can all be armed with power weapons and shuriken pistols, or shuriken rifles, shuriken pistols, and fists. You can have 1 gunner and 1 heavy gunner, but your kill team can't include both. So that's basically your flex model right there, is you can have a gunner or a heavy gunner. And they can have a shuriken cannon or a wraith cannon, and the gunner can have a blaster or a shredder. So you kind of have to choose, which is that's the flex model, unfortunately, out of the 10, and that's why you have 9. I'm not sure why they didn't give you both. I would have just given them 2 heavy weapons, because everybody else can have a heavy and a special weapon. So why not the Eldar? And then the rest of them, you get your Duelist, Hunter, Shade Runner, Kurnathi, Fate Dealer, Way Seeker, and Soul Weaver. And then you get the ability across all of them. You get a free dash. Just Eldari Raiders. Everybody gets a free dash all the time. It's not even a ploy. Just go for it. Get a free dash. They're super fast. Safe powers, your Void Scarred Psychers can do 1 or 2 depending upon their equipment and stuff. So Lightning Strike, 4 attacks, 3+. It's got AP 1, 4/5 damage. Warding Shield, get a 3+ invulnerable save to someone within 6. Freezing Grasp, until the end of the turning point, subtract 1 white from the enemy's 2 inches basically from the movement characteristic, and you can't dash. And then Warp Fold, that Freezing Grip is going to be a huge deal on small model count armies. Custodes, or like not that they get used, but like heavy intercessors, other Astartes will hate Freezing Grasp. And then Warp Fold, select a friendly Void Scarred operative within 6 invisible. That friendly operative and this operative can both drop any objective markers they're carrying. That friendly operative then swaps positions with this operative, remove them both. So basically, you go whoop and you flip spots with a model within 6 of you, which is kind of neat. So you can get someone to combat that way or put someone in combat. Then your ploys, so the strategic ones, you can have plunderers, selected the 3 friendly Void Scarred. Each of them can perform a free dash. When doing so, if the mission you're playing has any objective markers that are not being carried by operatives, each selected must end their dash closer to the nearest operative. So you go running towards the treasure. Rapid strikes, each time a friendly Void Scarred operative fights in combat, and the roll attack dice step of the combat. If you're the attacker and the target's not ready, you can select 1 crit to be returned as a critical hit. Sorry, 1 hit to turn into a crit. So basically, if you attack people that have already gone, a hit turns into a crit when you attack them, which is pretty cool. Outcasts, you do outnumber a lot of teams, which is handy. Until the end of the turning point, each time a friendly Void Scarred operative fights in combat or makes a shooting attack, and the roll attack dice step of that combat or shooting attack. If it's more than 6 from friendly operatives, if you retain any crits, you can select 1 of your failed hits to turn into a normal hit. Basically, when you're further away. And then Eldari Agility. Until the end of the turning point, each time a friendly Corsair Void Scarred operative is activated, it can use this Eldari ability. If it does so, it cannot perform fight or shoot actions, but each time it performs a dash, fallback, or normal move, you get an extra inch of movement. So, no fight, but move super fast. When you're all by yourself, be better at fighting, go after guys you've already activated, and then dash towards the treasure. In a game of board positioning and objective control, those are all really good strategic ploys. But there's no way to get them for free, I don't think. Tactical ploys, opportunistic fighter. When an enemy operative falls back before it moves, they take D3 mortal wounds for each Eldar Void Scarred within engagement range of it. So if you gagged up on someone and they fall back, you use that, they just take like 1, 2, or 3, or 4, or 5 D3 mortal wounds. Light Fingers, use this during a friendly Corsair's activation. Until the end of the activation, that operative can perform a free mission action or pickup, even if it's within engagement range of the enemy operative. Deadly Ambush, uses tactical ploy when an enemy operative finishes an action in which it moved. Select a friendly Corsair Void Scarred operative that is not within engagement range of an enemy operative. That friendly operative can immediately perform a free charge action, but can only move up to 3, and must finish that move within engagement range. Otherwise, it can't move. And then 1 step ahead, use this tactical ploy at the end of the initiative phase of the first turning point. You can redeploy up to 2 friendly Void Scarred. They must be in your wholly deployment zone, and you can change their order too. So for 1, you can move around and change an order. Your Void Scarred, actually the change, that's more powerful than you think. Because like, let's say you had a guy exposed, last activation, top of a rampart or something like that, shooting down into combat. You can then immediately change their order and redeploy them. That's a tactical ploy at the first turning point. So like, you can bait somebody out, like with like a lone lookout model basically, and then just be like, I'm somewhere else, and I'm hiding, I'm concealed. Or vice versa, move someone from concealed into like engagement where they're gonna be able to go kill somebody. All right, so your basic warrior, 3 movements, 2 AP, 1 group activation. So no group activation 2s here, which is actually really powerful. That's for a 9 model team, that's more powerful than you think because it means that you're pulling activations out and not having to go twice. Shuriken pistols, rending, 3+, 3, 4. Rifles, the same thing. No range restriction, power weapon. Lethal 5+, 4 attacks, 3+, 4, 6. Being able to have power weapons and shuriken pistols on regular guys, those are some crazy dangerous melee weapons. Lethal 5+ is no joke on your basic warrior. Rending is cool too. Your gunner, the blaster and shredder, same as the Drukhari ones. So 3-4 damage, blast on the shredder, and then AP2 on the blaster. I like how blaster doesn't have blast. For some reason that makes me happy. They all get the free dash action. Now, your Voice Guard Warriors can take aim. They can, as a single AP until the end of their activation, they gain balanced special rule as long as you're not within 3 of an enemy operative. So you can aim your rifles and be better at shooting. Your heavy gunner can have a Wraith Cannon or a Shuriken Cannon. The Wraith Cannon's 6-3, AP2, heavy, unwieldy, and mortal wound 4 with 6-3 damage. And then the Shuriken Cannon is 5 attacks, 3+, 4-5, fusillade, heavy, and unwieldy. They have rending, just like the Shuriken pistols. And your gunner, he's got a Starstorm Duelist as the 2-pistol guy. The same core defensive stats, 3 dice, 4+, 8 wounds. He's got quick on the trigger. You can perform the pistol barrage and shoot actions while within engagement range of an enemy operative. And if it does so, you have to shoot someone engaged with you. So you can shoot when you're in melee. Pistol barrage, make a shooting attack with the fusion pistol and make a shooting attack with the shuriken pistol this operative. It's treated as a shoot action. This operative cannot perform this action if it has a conceal order. So basically when you're in melee, you can shoot with both, or even just shoot with both not in melee. And the fusion pistol is 3+, 5-3. Range is only 3 inches, but it's AP2 and mortal wounds 3. So you have like a melee shooter basically. And what's amazing about that is shooting in melee means you can't be hit back. Right? So you've engaged someone, they can't move away, but also there's no strike back because it's not the melee sequence. So we're getting the Kernite Hunter. This is the Kernathi stuff. Shuriken pistol power weapon, it's the usual rules. He's got a Foul Chew. It's a special action that releases the bird at you. Did you know that the bird is the word? Select an enemy operative with a conceal order that's visible to the opponent and roll a d6, adding 1 for each of the following. If they're within 6, if they're not ready, if they're not within 1 of heavy cover. On a 6+ until the end of the turning point, friendly Corsair Void Guards creep it as if it has an engage order. This operative cannot perform this action if it's within engagement range of an enemy operative. So a really cool way to smoke out like the hidden snipers that never come off conceal. Send the bird after them, and then you get to shoot them. The bird just like sits there going caca caca. Your Shade Runner, I love this model. He's super cool. I can't tell if he's a Dark Eldar or a Harlequin, but I love him. He's a knife fighter. He's got Hekatari blades, which makes me think he's a witch, actually. He's got 3+, 3+, relentless and lethal 5+, so rerolling hits and 5+ crits. He's going to be doing a lot of damage. And he has Silent on his throwing blades, which is cool too. Slicing attack for 1 AP. Make a free normal move action with this operative. Select an enemy model that's this operative moved within engagement during the move. Roll an attack dice as if the operative is fighting close combat. If it's successful, you can immediately strike that enemy operative. So basically, you can make a move, right? Your full 6 inches. And if you moved within an inch of a model during that move, roll a single die with Relentless, with lethal 5+, and maybe just do 5 damage to them. So you just like shank somebody on the way by. Very cool. It's also not a charge, but it is a normal move. So you can't do both. And then, I don't know if you can do it if you're engaged. Actually, I guess you could. It's a free normal move. With this action, select an enemy operative moved with an engagement during the move. So if you start an engagement, you could just shank somebody on the way out, I guess. Then it's not an attack action. So you could like shank somebody with the slicing attack, then make a regular melee attack, I think. Don't quote me on that, but it feels like that's the intention there, is this guy like bamfs around like Nightcrawler. And then your Void Guard Kernathi, he's got dual power weapons, which is crazy. This is the only one I don't think I actually built out of the box. So now that I think about it, maybe I didn't build everything. Because I don't remember this, I don't even remember this model. Dual power weapons, 4-6 damage with lethal 5+ and relentless. Bladed Stance, each time this operative fights in combat, in the resolve successful hit step of the combat, you can resolve 1 successful hit before the attacker. If you do so, it must be used to parry. So basically, you can parry a hit before you even go into making attacks. If your opponent only hits you once, you get to parry before they get to actually apply a hit, and then maybe they have no dice left. Voice Guard Fate Dealer, this is the sniper. Has a cool ranged long rifle. Camo Cloak, same as the ones for the Rangers, and then Take Aim, same as the ones for the basic warrior, balanced. Your Way Seeker is your Psyker. The Witch Staff is 3+, 3+, 5 damage, which is kind of cool. Your Soul Weaver is got Soul Channel and Soul Heal, so they're not actually they are psychic actions, and they are a psyker. but they don't have manifest psychic power. So they have unique, like, special Healy things. Soul Channel is select a friendly operative visible and within 6, add 1 to their APL, and then Soul Heal is the same thing, but they get D3 wounds back. You can perform this action twice per activation, but cannot perform it if you're within engagement range. And then your Felarch's your leader guy. He's got extra wound, so 9 wounds instead of 8. And then he is Neurodisruptor, which is a crazy ability. It has stun, which I think is super cool. Range 6 inches, AP 1, 2+ to hit, 4/5 damage. And then he's got Coordinated Strike. Each time this operative is activated, you can select 1 friendly Corsair Void Guard, visible within 3, and then chain activate, and take aim just like the Warriors. So, not a lot of like efficiency in their AP like the Marines have, because they have a bigger team, but lots of cool specialists, lots of cool like gimmicks. Like the Carnathy Hunter being able to take away Conceal is a huge deal. Really powerful shooting weapons, tons of powerful melee. Lots of AP to drop saves too, which is a huge deal, and tons of mortal wounds as well. Equipment, your Dieternal Mantle. Each time a shooting attack is made against this operative, if the ranged weapon is the Torrent or Blast, this operative's shooting has a save of 3+ against the shooting attack. So you're basically wearing a cool like anti-blast torrent ability cloak for 2, and it's not limited. A Plasma Grenade for 2. This operative is equipped with the following plasma grenades, just like the normal Eldar one. Corsair Blade, 3 attacks, 3+, 3/4 damage, 1 AP. So you can arm all your non-melee guys. An Ocular Scanner. You can Ocular Scan until the end of this operative's activation. The ranged weapon it's equipped with gains no cover. So for 1 AP, you can just remove cover. It's 2 equipment points. Runes of Protection. Each time a shooting attack is made against this operative, in the roll defense dice step of that shooting attack, if that shooting attack was made as a result of the manifest psychic power action, you can roll any of your defense dice. Crazy. Mist Field for your Felarch only. While a friendly operative is within 2 of the operative, this operative has a 5+ invul. So basically your friends get 5+ invuls. A Lodestar Helm for your Wayseeker. The second time this operative performs the manifest psychic power in each of its activations, it does not suffer any mortal wounds on a roll of a 1 or 2. And then Pathfinder Cloak, you get a for your Fate Dealer. While this operative has the Conceal Order, it's treated as having the Conceal Order regardless of any other rules. So basically Vantage Point doesn't count against it if you want to have the Pathfinder. So you can make yourself a Pathfinder. And then you get your Spec Ops, all your battle honors, like a Swift Hunter or an Expert Marksman. You don't have to lose AP to take aim. Rare equipment, your Long Sight Helm. You get Ceaseless for your ranged weapons, or a Relic Power Weapon. It gains Balanced. Strategic Asset, Horde of Spoils, Webway Entrance, or Aerial Support. These are neat. Each time you add a Strategic Asset to your base, you can choose one of these. Requisitions, and then your different Spec Ops that you could go on, playing those operations. All right, the Killzone train. So, for Killzone Nachmund, you get in the box 2 hatches, 2 exhaust vents, which is neat because they kind of use bits that are. You get rules for pieces that are kind of extra pieces on the frame because you choose to use them or not use them, but they give them like actual rules. A power relay substation, a crane, a ferrotonic furnace, 2 plasma regulators, 6 pipes of various sizes, 2 fuel reservoirs, and 2 toxic smog stacks. So your exhaust vent, it can open and close the vents. Basically, there's all kinds of aura effects here. The hatch lets you pop between hatches for an AP, which is kind of cool, but you don't show up until the next turn. The power relay, you can salvage a power core. The crane, you gain CPs for that. The crane is just a crane, it's just heavy. The ferrotonic furnace is scalable and heavy. The plasma regulator, same thing with vantage points. All your pipes. A fuel reservoir, and a smog stack. And so they give you all the different design styles for that. And then your mission packs, there's 9 missions. Again, I won't spoil them all because we're gonna play through them all, but using all the terrain that's in the box. And that's it. Chaos Space Marines versus Eldar Corsairs. Nice amount of terrain. And the book, of course, will eventually be available. So if you're not interested in the box set, you can grab this from the GW store. I think when the next box comes out, usually it's because we had the Chalmath one today as well. It became available. So I like this. I like so what I like about this, I guess, is they're mixing a compendium team with another team. They didn't do that in the last one in Chalmath, and the compendium kind of felt left out. Now, I don't know that this replaces the Heretic Astartes list, but I don't see why it wouldn't, because all of the Heretic Astartes things are in here, I feel like. I guess you don't get Raptors, maybe? I don't think the Raptors are in the Heretic Astartes one for the compendium. But it gives you a cool new Chaos Space Marine box, tons of new specialisms, and then a brand new kill team in the form of the Eldari Corsairs. So you can't really go wrong with the models. They're super cool. If you want to get them early, obviously they'll all be available separately in the end. If you're patient and want to wait, but if you like the terrain, you like the two like sort of like paired factions, then I think this is cool. The models are fantastic, and I'm excited to play some games with them, especially with the Iron Warriors. I don't know, it feels like the focus on the Eldar, but I'm more excited about the Chaos stuff. I'm really hoping that between Eldritch Omens and this, we've got a new Chaos Codex coming in the future, because I will happily expand my Iron Warriors, reread Graham McNeil's Iron Warriors, and do some Space Pirates in the Nachmund Reach. So there it is, a kill team at Nachmund. Big thanks for watching. We'll see you for more GMG reviews in the future. Throw in a mash. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed that video. There are tons of other games already recorded for you to watch. Click over to my channel page if you haven't already, and have a look to the dozens of playlists full of videos. I guarantee you'll discover a game you haven't seen played before. I put out new videos 7 days a week, and every day is themed to a different genre as I continue to explore the wider world of gaming. Of course, none of that's possible without you, the viewer, so click a like and subscribe if you'd like to stay on top of what's happening here daily. My two kids and I are massively grateful to be able to have the flexibility of this job so I can always maximize my time with them. If you want to support me continuing to put out this content, it's only possible because of my amazing backers on Patreon who support the studio, equipment, and model cost, as well as being how I make the bulk of my living. You can also help out by buying a t-shirt through Spreadshirt, a measuring gauge or widget from Death Ray Designs, or buying one of my games and supplements like Last Days, Gamma Wolves, and Blaster. As a way of showing my appreciation, patrons get early access to new games and supplements that I write throughout the course of the year. Huge thanks for watching, it really does help out, and happy gaming.